Hello and welcome to Mysteries of Science. My name's Dan and I'm the editor of the wonderful Science and Nature magazine, which is a monthly magazine from the team behind The Week Junior.
And I'm Michael, the acting deputy editor. On this podcast, we investigate weird events, strange creatures and mysterious places.
And on today's episode, we're investigating a mystery that was requested by you, our listeners.
Yes, we're asking whether there are any dinosaurs still living today.
Ooh, what a fantastic question. Could there be dinosaurs that walk among us? I mean, we know they went extinct after an asteroid hit the Earth 66 million years ago. But is there more to the story? We will find out.
Yes, join us and some expert guests as we find out whether we're living with dinosaurs.
This is Mysteries of Science.
So, Dan, dinosaurs, where do we start with this mystery?
Well, Michael, I did something quite unusual for this episode, and I went out last night to a London park with some children, and we went on an actual dinosaur safari to see if we could find real-life dinosaurs living amongst us.
And what did you find?
Should we listen to it? Should we see what we found out?
Let's do it.
All right, here we are. We're in Crystal Palace Park tonight, and we are doing something pretty exciting and potentially pretty scary. What is it we're doing, kids?
Dinosaurs falling!
Yes, let's go and see if we can find any dinosaurs in the park
Real life.
Real life, absolutely. And there's a few prehistoric looking plants already that we can see around us. That's quite exciting.
This looks weird. It has flowers growing out of flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have actually found a few of these dinosaurs.
You might be able to see some in the distance.
That's right. Yeah, just behind us. There's a massive one just behind us. I don't know if you can see. Two. So what we have here is like the very famous Crystal Palace dinosaurs. They were made in about 1850 by Benjamin Waterhouse Hawkins. We've got two iguanodon here, kind of chilling out. There's a dinosaur called Hylaeosaurus, like one of the first stegosaurs with his spiky back heading off into the woods there. And if you come down this way, you can see something very special there through the trees. Let's go around here so we can see him better. This one is called Megalosaurus, and he's an absolute monster. He's kind of the British Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he was the very first dinosaur to get a name back in 1824, so 200 years ago. Right, so that's what we found last night, but I think it might be very helpful to get a real life expert in to help us. So why don't we bring in Joannosaurus to tell us a little bit more?
Okay, so hi, my name is Joanna, and you might know me from TikTok and YouTube as Joannosaurus. I am a science communicator that focuses on doing paleontology education and outreach, and I also work as a contract instructor at a university teaching university students about paleontology and earth sciences.
Welcome to the show, Joanna, and can I say, what a great name. Joannosaurus, it's fantastic.
I think we should all dinosaurify our names for this episode. She's Joannosaurus. Who are we? I've got a sort of Velociraptor t-shirt on that you see if you watch us on YouTube at Mysteries of Science. So maybe I'll go for, I don't know, Michael Ciraptor, if that works. How about you, Dan?
I like it. Very strong name, and well done for dressing for the occasion.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm impressed. Well, I don't think you can beat the Saurus. So how about Dinosaurus? Dinosaurus Rex.
Dinosaurus Rex.
Yes,
powerful.
I like that.
And if our listeners want to let us know their dinosaur names, then of course you can send us a voice note by going to funkidslive.com/mysteries and hitting the big red button.
I can't wait to hear some of the names that we're going to get in. Fantastic. So Joanna, could you explain what is a dinosaur?
Oh, well, one thing that is important to note is that not everything that people think of as a dinosaur is actually a dinosaur. So the word dinosaur is a scientific term that refers to a very specific group of animals that share traits or characteristics in common with one another. And so things like a pterosaur, commonly called a pterodactyl, those are often lumped in with dinosaurs, but they are not dinosaurs. They are their own group. They are their own group of ancient reptiles known as pterosaurs. Another one that people often mistake for dinosaurs are marine reptiles, things like plesiosaurs, those long-necked swimming creatures. And those are sometimes people think that they could possibly be still alive. The Loch Ness Monster is an example of that. And so if some people are thinking, oh, maybe dinosaurs are still alive because of the Loch Ness Monster. I have two things to say for that. Number one, it's not a dinosaur. So if it is alive, it's a marine reptile, a plesiosaur, not a dinosaur. And number two, plesiosaurs and other marine reptiles came from land ancestors, so they do need to breathe air. And so it's highly unlikely that there is one of these creatures living down in the bottom of Loch Ness, because they would have to be coming up pretty frequently for air, like whales do today. And the fact that, we can put a camera, let's say, and just look out there and they're not coming up with their necks to breathe, kind of, to me, that's the biggest bit of evidence that they're probably not there. So it is fun to imagine.
Okay, so we learned quite a lot there. Firstly, that pterodactyls are not dinosaurs, which is good to know.
Brilliant. And I actually love how Joanna brought in the Loch Ness Monster there, because as super fans will know, the Loch Ness Monster was our very first mystery that we investigated on Mysteries of Science.
Yes, all roads lead back to the Loch Ness Monster. And now we know that if the Loch Ness Monster does exist, it wouldn't be a dinosaur, it would be a marine reptile.
Yeah, great to make that distinction. And, well, if the Loch Ness Monster isn't a dinosaur, are there any dinosaurs knocking around today?
So if you are asking the question, are there still T-Rex or Triceratops in our world? The answer is no. But there are still living dinosaurs, because birds are living dinosaurs. They belong to a group of dinosaurs called theropods, which are also sometimes called meat-eating dinosaurs. This group also includes Tyrannosaurus, Velociraptor, Microraptor, Allosaurus, all of these dinosaurs that walk around on 2 feet. Many of them have feathers, just like birds do today. And birds are just a smaller group of this larger group of dinosaurs that we call theropods.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I see a pigeon flying about, pecking about out there, I'm looking at a dinosaur.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you are looking at a living dinosaur. The only group of dinosaurs that survived the mass extinction 66 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period were what we now call birds. And so they are the only living group of dinosaurs left. There used to be more in the past, but they're what's alive today. So every time you're eating a chicken burger, you're eating a dinosaur burger. It's you're eating dinosaur meat.
I love it. Absolutely. I mean, like, dinosaur for dinner. I love a chicken burger, but it's infinitely more appealing to tuck into a dinosaur burger, isn't it?
Yeah, a dinosaur burger definitely sounds a lot more exciting. So what characteristics do modern day birds share with dinosaurs then? If I'm looking at a bird, what am I looking at that, takes me back 60 odd million years ago to when the dinosaurs were walking the earth?
It's a good question. It is the question we need to answer now. So I think we should probably bring in another expert guest. Why don't we say hello to our next guest?
Hi, I'm Dr. Aki Watanabe. I'm an associate professor of anatomy at the New York Institute of Technology, and I'm also a research associate at the American Museum of Natural History in New York.
Welcome to the show, Aki. So tell us, what do birds have in common with the dinosaurs who lived back in the day?
We know that dinosaurs, at least the ones that were closely related to birds, already had feathers. And then some of them might have actually glided from trees. So we know that a lot of the dinosaurs did actually share a lot of the characteristics with modern birds. So more recent research has shown that a lot of the dinosaurs actually had not maybe fully developed feathers that allow birds to fly today, but what we call proto-feathers. So they're sort of like a less developed version of feathers.
Okay, so feathers is one thing, and I think some people might not realize that dinosaurs had feathers, and they certainly didn't till very recently, I don't think. Are there any other things that modern birds have in common with dinosaurs?
So if you've eaten turkey during the holidays, you might have seen the wishbone, which is actually a fused version of the clavicle, which you can also feel it's the collarbone on your own body. And dinosaurs actually share that special fused, combined clavicle bone called the furcula as well. And also, one of the things that I study is brain evolution in birds. So birds actually have really large brains for their body size. Of course, a lot of the birds are small, so you might not think that they're smart, but for their size, their brains are actually pretty large. So they're considered pretty intelligent animals. But what we know now is that dinosaurs also possessed relatively or fairly large brains for their body size. Definitely ones that are pretty closely related to birds. So, for example, the famous one is velociraptors. And also you might know dinosaurs like Oviraptor, which means egg thief. And those dinosaurs also had fairly large brain volumes for their body size as well. So we know that some of the dinosaurs are actually pretty smart, maybe as smart as some of the modern birds today.
Okay, so it seems like birds then really do give us an insight into the dinosaurs. After all, they are dinosaurs, and good to hear a mention there for my favourite Velociraptor. So if we can peacefully coexist with birds, then surely we could peacefully coexist with other dinosaurs as well, right? We could bring them back Jurassic Park, Jurassic World style.
Yeah, and what went wrong there? That was fine, wasn't it? That was absolutely fine. Well, why don't we ask Aki? But I'm sceptical, I have to say.
Yeah, as paleontologists, and because everybody knows about the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, I get asked the question a lot about, hey, can we bring dinosaurs back? And first of all, to answer that question, we do have dinosaurs, right? Birds are dinosaurs, like I said before. So we are living in the world of dinosaurs as we speak. But if you are thinking about something like the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies, where you want, for example, a T-Rex to come back. So as scientists, my job, I think, is to never say never, right? Anything is possible. So I don't want to say it's impossible to bring back dinosaurs, but using current technology, it seems unlikely that we can fully bring back dinosaurs like T-Rex or Triceratops. But we can probably find out a little bit about their hopefully about their sort of genetic sequences, right? Maybe not the full genome, which means like the full complete DNA of a dinosaur, but hopefully we can find at least fragments or pieces of that DNA, and then maybe that contains some important genes that might tell us about, for example, like how the dinosaurs lived or what their physiology was like.
So you're telling me there's a chance we could do it. We could do it.
I mean, you're playing a very dangerous game here, I think. Never say never is what Aki said. I mean, you guys, have you watched the Jurassic Park videos? I mean, what's the quote? Like, first there's oohs and ahs, and then there's running and screaming. If we could bring back dinosaurs, just saying, might not be the best idea, right?
Just because we could doesn't mean we should. But should
Exactly.
we? Should we?
So the question about bringing dinosaurs back and whether that's a good idea. Well, I think, scientists tend to be a little bit worried about bringing totally new animals to a modern environment, just because it's really hard to guess how that animal will behave in the wild, right? And how they will interact with the prey and their predators, and how modern, life forms might affect that animal, and vice versa, where, how does that animal affect the plant life and other animal life on this planet. So I think the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park movies does a great job of telling that message of things are unpredictable, right? Nature can have a huge influence in ways that humans can't predict.
I don't know. I still think it would be cool. I just remember them being great movies. Well, bring them back.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to bring out the big guns here. This idea really has to be seriously put to bed now. Joanna, can you help us out, please?
A Tyrannosaurus Rex is not the same as birds that are alive today. Birds and dinosaurs split long before the non-avian dinosaurs went extinct. So all the way back in the Jurassic period is when we have the earliest sort of very bird-like dinosaurs and the earliest members of the lineage that would eventually become what we now know as modern birds. So while birds were off doing their own thing, becoming more and more bird-like, other non-avian dinosaurs of their relatives were doing their own thing. And things like Tyrannosaurus Rex were developing the strongest bite force of any dinosaur that we've measured so far. And so, if there was a T-Rex alive today, it could very easily chomp us in half. I mean, it had the capability. It had huge banana-sized serrated teeth in its mouth for crushing through flesh and bone. So, I mean, I don't think it would be a good outcome for us humans if some of these other theropods had made it through the mass extinction. And I mean, we have several Jurassic Park movies showing us like possible outcomes. And I think that, although many of the aspects of the science of those Jurassic Park movies are a little bit movie magic, science fiction instead of science fact, the ability for a Tyrannosaurus Rex to eat a person, were we to meet in real life, I don't think they exaggerated that so much.
Okay, yeah, I think I might change my mind. That doesn't sound so good after all.
Thank you, Joanna. I mean, while she was speaking, I circled some really important points here. Huge banana-sized serrated teeth that could easily chomp us in half. I think those are convincing arguments that we mustn't exaggerate too much. So
no, you can't come back at that, I don't think.
So right, I think this is a really good time to wheel out our trusty old mysteryometer.
Yes, this is a scale from 0 to 100, with 0 being we know nothing and 100 meaning we know everything, case closed. So I wonder where our experts think we are on that scale when it comes to living with dinosaurs.
Yeah, so as a scientist, to answer the question of whether dinosaurs do exist today, I would say 100%, because as we talked about, all living birds that you see, so pigeons, chickens, turkeys, those are all dinosaurs. So 100% for certain, dinosaurs do exist in our world. But that's probably not the answer that people are thinking of, or at least the question, right? Do we see cousins of T-Rex or something like Triceratops, living deep in the jungle or in some, cave somewhere? I would say that likelihood is, very low. So probably 0%. But to make it a little bit more interesting, we can say, well, how can we, bring back part of dinosaurs in the way that we know? So there might be a chance that we know a little bit about the genes of dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals, and maybe using modern animals that are, somewhat closely related to those long extinct animals. Maybe we can fill in the gaps and try to sort of, recreate at least some traits or features of these long extinct animals like dinosaurs.
Oh, wow. That's actually a more difficult question than you might imagine. So can we live with dinosaurs? I think 100% yes, we can live with dinosaurs because we live with them every day, right? We even farm them for eggs and then eat their meat, right? Which is chicken and whatnot, and turkeys and everything. So in that respect, yes, we have successfully lived with dinosaurs for the entire time that we as humans have lived on this planet. However, is it possible for dinosaurs, non-avian dinosaurs, number one, is it possible that they survived the extinction? We just haven't found them yet. I would say that there's no chance of that. So if we were going to find them, if they were living somewhere, we would have encountered them at this point, I think. So that's a 0. Can we bring dinosaurs back? So not in the way that they do in Jurassic Park.
Very happy with this. Very pleased to announce that we have 2 experts in total agreement with each other, which doesn't always happen on Mysteries of Science, does it? Yeah. So I think, to summarize, I think we've got 2 kinds of answers here about living with dinosaurs. One is 100% we're living with dinosaurs because there are real life dinosaurs and relatives of dinosaurs alive today.
All around us.
And 0% that dinosaurs of the type of your Velociraptor, Triceratops, etc.
T-Rex.
Classic dinos are living together. And then maybe somewhere in between that we could potentially bring some dinos back. So, well, that's what our experts have to say. But what I'm interested in knowing, Michael, is would you bring them back after you listening to all of that?
I think my mind might have changed somewhat. But, I can always be convinced again. Maybe one of our listeners will convince me to change my mind back to...
A small dinosaur.
Yeah, a little
cute,
one.
cuddly one.
That's manageable.
I like the idea of dinosaur eggs for breakfast.
That sounds very good,
a little chicken-sized one.
Yeah. So you can send us a voice note at funkidslive.com/mysteries and hit the big red button, or you can email us at hello@science-nature.co.uk.
And don't forget to join us in 2 weeks' time for our next mystery.
Yes, we'll be going to one of the world's most mysterious places, Area 51. We're going to try and break in and see what they're hiding in there. What are they keeping locked behind those doors?
I can't wait. Until then,
stay curious.